What's going on, family? This is your host DQ here, bringing in another review, and we're getting into the Nintendo Switch controller grip, and it's actually a controller that you will actually feel comfortable with playing. Now, I know for many of you out there who are actively looking at the Nintendo Switch wondering, okay, is this an actual product that I actually am going to be comfortable with playing? Because I know for many of you that have the same struggle that I do, struggle with the fact that having to play games with little bitty controllers that look like this and having to play it for long periods of time. And you're going to find that out as you continue to watch this video. Now, I know that the Switch has been a struggle with finding, and that many people are still actively trying to find one to this day. Most people have pretty much have given up and said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to wait till the holidays. I get your pain. So if you're watching this now at the time of this video and you're wondering, okay, is it a comfortable feel with playing the actual Joy-Con controller? Well, that ultimately depends depending on these 5 fingers here, because again, it's ultimately about your size and how much you're okay with quenching your fingers to actually input the buttons to play games. It doesn't feel actually bad at all. I mean, everything about this controller, I mean, it looks cool. It's a very different, attractive feel. In fact, it actually reminds me of the classic NES controllers. The difference between that and this one is because each side has its own different functionality. Like this one little button here has the functionality to be able to screenshot your games and actually share your photos instantaneously while you play games. That's actually a pretty cool feature, very similar to the PS4 controller and Xbox One that pretty much does the same thing. And then this button right here gives you that home navigation where you can basically press the button and it takes you right back to the home navigation to go through the menus just like you would do on your PS4 or Xbox One. These 2 buttons here is your different pause and select buttons here. As you can see here on the top buttons, this was one of my biggest concerns, and for those of you who are deciding on whether or not if this is a comfortability controller, you can see here as you showing here that how easy it is for me to accidentally press the button that I don't want to press. Honestly, it's just really defining based off how long and how big your fingers are when playing this type of a controller, because again, this is a controller that really caters to, honestly, I would say small hands. Yeah, people who have big hands will be able to play it and have some type of comfort playing it. It's not an uncomfortable controller, but if you're going to be playing for long periods of time, then you are going to have an uncomfortable feel. Honestly, I would encourage for those of you who are deciding whether or not to get a Pro Controller upgrade, I would say to try to play this for about an extended period of time, at least about maybe 2 to 3 hours, and then that would pretty much justify, okay, if you're going to be comfortable with using this controller, because again, it's not a bad feel. It does everything that you want it to do. It feels like a regular NES controller if you detach it in itself, but also if you're playing it like this style form of play, have a tendency to be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's just gonna based off the person who's actually using the controller for any long period of time anyway. Now guys, for those of you that do have a Switch or have tried playing the Switch controller for the first time, tell me in the comments below what you actually think of this actual controller. Do you think it's actually worth the controller? Do you think it's a great controller? Or do you honestly felt that it was just honestly uncomfortable to where you had to pretty much buy a Pro Controller? Leave your comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And again, this is your host DQ here, giving you guys another product review. And again, this is where awesome people come to watch.